Are you tired of feeling misunderstood or disconnected in your relationships? Communication is the key to building healthy and fulfilling connections with those around us. But mastering the skill can be easier said than done. Today, we're going to explore the essential skills and techniques you need to communicate effectively in your relationships. Think about it. How often have you found yourself in a situation where you feel like the other person just isn't getting you? Or maybe you've had a disagreement with someone, but things only seem to get worse when you try to talk it out. That's where communication comes in. When we communicate effectively, we're able to express our thoughts and feelings in a way that's clear and respectful. We're also able to listen to the other person and understand where they're coming from. This is how we build trust, empathy, and connection in our relationships. On the other hand, when communication breaks down, it can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and even the end of a relationship. And nobody wants that. But don't worry, learning how to communicate effectively is a skill that can be learned and practiced. So, what exactly does it take to communicate effectively? First, active listening is a crucial skill for effective communication in any relationship. But it's not just about hearing the words that are coming out of the other person's mouth. It's about being fully present in the moment and giving them your undivided attention. So, how do you do this? First, put away any distractions. Yes, that means your phone, laptop, or any other screens that might be competing for your attention. Next, focus on the person speaking. Make eye contact and use nonverbal cues like nodding or smiling to show that you're engaged. But active listening isn't just about being a passive listener. It also means asking questions and clarifying what the other person is saying. This shows that you're truly trying to understand their perspective and can help avoid misunderstandings. And perhaps more importantly, active listening means suspending your own judgment or assumptions about what the other person is saying. This can be hard, especially if you're in a disagreement or feeling defensive. But when you approach the conversation with an open mind and a willingness to truly listen, you're more likely to come to a resolution that works for both parties. It's a small but powerful way to improve your communication and build stronger relationships. Next up, empathy. This is one of the most important skills in communication. It's the ability to put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand how they're feeling. When you can do this, you're able to respond in a way that's supportive and validating. Empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone or trying to fix their problems. It's about truly understanding and acknowledging their feelings. This means listening without judgment and acknowledging their emotions, even if you don't necessarily agree with them. But empathy isn't just good for the other person, it's good for you too. When you practice empathy, you're building trust and connection in your relationships. You're showing that you care about the other person and that their feelings matter to you. And this, in turn, can lead to a stronger and more fulfilling relationship. The third effective communication skill is assertiveness. It's all about expressing your thoughts and feelings in a way that's clear and respectful. It's not about being aggressive or passive, but finding a balance in between. Being assertive means standing up for yourself and your needs, while also respecting the other person's feelings and needs. It's about communicating in a way that's direct, honest, and respectful. One of the benefits of assertiveness is that it can help prevent misunderstandings or resentment from building up in a relationship. When you're able to communicate your needs clearly and respectfully, you're more likely to get what you want while also maintaining a positive relationship. But being assertive can be challenging, especially if you're not used to speaking up for yourself. It takes practice to find the right balance between being too passive or too aggressive. However, with time and practice, you can learn to express yourself in a way that's assertive and effective. When you're in a situation where you need to speak up, try to channel your inner assertiveness. Speak clearly and confidently, while still being respectful of the other person's perspective. You might be surprised at how much more effectively you can convey your message. Now let's talk about nonverbal communication. It's not just about the words you say, but also the way you say them. This includes things like eye contact, facial expressions, and body language. It's important to be aware of your nonverbal cues and to use them to convey your message effectively. For example, let's say you're having a conversation with someone and you're telling them something that's important to you. If you're looking down at your feet or fidgeting with your hands, it might give the impression that you're not confident in what you're saying, or that you're not fully engaged in the conversation. On the other hand, if you maintain eye contact and use open body language, it can show that you're confident and engaged in the conversation. This can help build trust and connection in your relationships. But nonverbal communication isn't just about your own cues. It's about paying attention to the other person's cues. By paying attention to these cues, you can adjust your own communication to better connect with the other person. These small gestures can make a big difference in how your message is received. And don't forget to pay attention to the other person's cues as well. Are they leaning in, indicating that they're interested, or are they looking away, suggesting that they're uncomfortable? By being attuned to these cues, you can adjust your communication style accordingly and build stronger connections. And finally, conflict resolution. Let's face it, conflict is inevitable in any relationship. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a coworker, there may be disagreements and misunderstandings from time to time. But here's the good news. By mastering conflict resolution, you can turn these challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. Conflict resolution is all about finding a way to navigate disagreements and conflicts in a way that's productive and respectful. When we're in the middle of a conflict, it can be tempting to just focus on getting our own point across. But by really tuning in to what the other person is saying and trying to understand their perspective, we can often find a way to move forward together. Improving communication skills can be a game changer for any relationship. And there are plenty of practical tips and strategies you can use to get there. One approach is to use the I statements instead of you statements. This means framing your message in terms of your own feelings and experiences, rather than pointing the finger at the other person. Another great strategy is to practice reflective listening. This means repeating back what the other person has said to you to ensure that you've understood their message correctly. For example, you might say, "So what I'm hearing is that you feel like I'm not listening to you when I'm on the phone." This not only helps to clarify misunderstandings, but also shows the other person that you're truly engaged and interested in their perspective. When we communicate, the words we choose can have a big impact on how the other person receives our message. That's why it's important to use positive language when discussing sensitive topics or expressing dissatisfaction. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of the past, try to frame your message in a way that is constructive and forward-thinking. For example, instead of saying, "You always leave your dishes in the sink. It's so annoying," you can try saying, "I would really appreciate it if we can both make an effort to keep the kitchen clean and tidy in the future." This focuses on the future and what you would like to happen, rather than dwelling on the past behavior that can't be changed. It's a simple but powerful technique that can make a big difference in how your message is received and understood. Assumptions can be a major barrier to effective communication. When we assume that we know what the other person is thinking or feeling, we risk misunderstanding their perspective and missing important information. By asking questions and seeking to understand the other person's perspective, we can create a more open and honest dialogue. For example, instead of assuming that your partner is upset with you because they're being distant, you can ask them directly if there's anything on their mind that they'd like to talk about. It's also important to be open-minded and willing to listen to the other person's perspective. They may have insights or experiences that you haven't considered, which can help to deepen your understanding of the situation. Also, being patient and flexible is crucial. Sometimes it might take a bit of time to find a solution that works for everyone, but being willing to compromise can make all the difference. Remember that mastering communication in relationships is a lifelong journey that requires consistent effort and practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes either. It's through trial and error that we learn and grow. So embrace the learning process and keep striving to be a better communicator. And so, to make sure you learn more about the signs that can kill a relationship other than poor communication skills, watch this video about relationship killer behaviors that you should be aware of. This will take you to the next level when it comes to relationships.